Valve just made a quiet but massive move. The Steam Deck LCD model is officially gone, people. No warning, no big announcement, just discontinued. What does that mean if you're thinking about buying one? Is the OLED now the only real option? What
Yeah.
happens to pricing, support, and Valve moving forward? Because when Valve cuts a model, it's not random, and the ripple effect matters.
I am not entertained.
Because Valve killing the LCD model isn't about failure. It's about focus, people. The OLED Steam Deck didn't just replace the screen, it fixed battery life, improved thermals, boosted efficiency, and delivered a noticeably better experience. Keeping the LCD version around only confused buyers and undercut Valve's own upgrade. This move also signals confidence. Valve isn't hedging anymore. They're betting fully on the deck as a long-term platform, not an experiment. That means software support stays strong, but hardware options get simpler. For buyers, the message is clear. If you want a Steam Deck, OLED is the baseline now. The downside, entry cost does go up. Yet the upside, fewer compromises and better device out of the box. So this isn't the end of the Steam Deck story. It's Valve cleaning up the lineup and setting expectations. Real question now is whether Valve sticks with the strategy or has something even bigger waiting in the winds. Yeah, listen, I guess the ultimate question that maybe a lot of people will have is should I still go out of my way to buy the LCD model if they're still available? And I'm not saying you
No.
shouldn't. I'm sure Valve is gonna support it. Give still update support as it goes for a number of years. But I do believe cleaning up the lineup and focusing, on what is the better product is better in the long run for Valve, especially as we report all the things that makes these handhelds are going up. You kind of have to trim the fat in your manufacturing process, and if the LCD is not, and I'm not trying to shit on it, don't misconstrue what I'm saying, but hey baby, only the best is going to make it out the door. And I think that is Valve saying we're not going to spend the money it takes to make these anymore, and whatever's left in the market, if it'll sell, cool, but we're not putting any more of the LCD models in the market. We're just not. We're focusing, we're tightening up the ship. Only the better products is going to make it out the door. And honestly, even with a 550 baseline, that rod or Xbox handheld was how much? This still
1,000.
looks, yeah, this is still a deal. And that's probably another reason why they were okay getting rid of the LCD model, because even at 550, when you compare it to other shit, it's still a deal. And for what all the Steam Deck capability gets you, 550, that's still, you can still stomach that. You can still take that on the chin and be okay when you compare it to a lot of these other handhelds. So I'm not upset by this. I think this is just a smart move. Like I said, a lot of people are looking at the books, they're trimming the fat, they're buckling down. 2026 is going to be a wild ride for a lot of people. And I do, and this is not that type of topic, but it is a Valve topic. If this is the baseline from the handheld, I'm always thinking about, so what's the baseline for that hardware they're coming out next year with? And I can probably confidently say it's going to be probably a bit more than 550. So that's the only thing that this topic really made me think, well, if 550 is the baseline from the handheld, it's going to be the baseline for the hardware. But they already said they're not subsidizing it, so we should already expect it's going to be a little pricey. But yeah, I'm not mad about none of this. I think it's kind of smart. Don't try to drag on an inferior product when you got the OLED screen already set and it's already looked like a deal when you compare it to other handhelds. So I'm not mad at it.
I'm not mad at it either. I'm just surprised it took this long. To me, as a Steam user and a Steam Deck owner, when the OLED came out, I automatically assumed the LCD model would just be, but Valve played it as, hey, you have two options. Even though there were still so many movers and shakers in the market. You had the Lenovo Go, your ROG before the Xbox stepped in, and all this other shit. They're like, hey, yeah, the competition maybe a little bit more beefier as far as spec wise, but and they cost upwards of 5 and more. Hey, we got you right here. You could be at 300 all the way up to the 650. So it was very strategic and smart to play along with it. Then they started offering refurbished models. Like, hey, you have options. And that's one thing consumers do like, it's options, to make sure they're not feeling like, oh, I have to get this particular thing. Even with the Xbox ROG Ally, they've only really shown off, marketed, pushed, and shown the black version. That's 1,000. There is another cheaper model, the 600 one, but if you don't know anything in the tech world, you wouldn't know much about that. Hell, you don't even know what its capabilities is, because everyone just goes on the black one. And we keep saying this, we're not trying to beat a dead horse, but with the current market, with the rising of the RAM, the SD cards and everything, I'm pretty sure Valve took a look at the books and was like, hey, is it financially responsible to keep making this model? And they probably said no. And my cousin, on air and off, has kind of gotten on me about my naivety of thinking that Valve will just, take a hit just to be leading or to have the mass market appeal. And it's clearly showing no. Yeah, you could get your hands on an LCD model for 400, which used to be an old Switch price, and get yourself in the door, and then later on, piece by piece, upgraded, with a higher end SD card. Hell, they even have the SSDs you could buy separately to upgrade and everything. The small distinguishes between the models, but they said, hey, we'll get you in that's lighter on your wallet. Sadly, that's not the case now. And this also does go to beg a question. This is now the entry point for their flagship handheld, will be the entry point for the Steam machine. We are still speculating and wondering that, but we won't get too off topic. This is not the time nor place for that. But like I said, I'm just shocked it took this long. I have an OLED model, and it is night and day compared to the LCD model. And as my co-host and cousin asked the question beforehand, should you still try to run and grab whatever you can, whether it be from Valve, eBay, or whoever? Me, I say no, because when the time comes, you spend the extra money by whether it be the bigger SD card or whatever it is, the piecemeal to improve it yourself a little bit alone. You could have saved that money, probably got games, and you would just wanted just a little bit more. It's a little bit more. I know with the OLED models, I don't know if it's just on the 1 terabyte model. That's the one I have. It comes with an anti-glare, anti-scratch screen. That means a lot. Now, I don't know people taking this bad boy out outside, but even in the house, you're next to a window or whatnot, light shine, glare comes up. To me, that's a good feature to have. We'll see what other moves and things that go on as market keeps continuously shifting, because we are a few days away from the new year coming, and Valve said themselves, Steam machines are early 26. To me, that's March, maybe-ish April. We have no word on pricing. I already have my model. Actually, I still have my LCD model. I need to get rid of that now.
All right, so you think
Sweet.
people should buy the OLED just to go ahead and get future proof, pretty much.
Yeah, so I know with PC, people's whole thing is choice, like the Matrix. I can buy this, but I can choose to upgrade this rather than that, and etc. And that's great. That's fine. In these times where everything is costing so much and people are truly nickel and diming every choice they have, okay, if it takes another month or two for you to get this thing, then just let it be another month or two. The money that you would spend to try to catch up to that model or whatnot, you could have just saved it and just had it in. The battery life is a huge improvement from the LCD to the OLED. The coloring, the saturation, performance. Now, thankfully, when you do buy games on Steam, and they do have their verification process, it is not, verified as console for LCD versus OLED. No, it just says Steam Deck verified. But you will notice the performance and the battery longevity when you start to play more heavier, hefty titles like a Cyberpunk, Dragon Age Veilguard, or Death Stranding. All those are verified on Steam. They'll run perfectly fine, but they are also more bigger, heftier games. So on an OLED model, I think when they ran tests for like Cyberpunk, I think it was like maybe 3 hours or something like that, depending on your settings. You put that on the OLED, you're probably looking at maybe 2 hours or less. That's
Okay.
a difference.
Okay. Yeah. I guess let me ask the audience this. If the only Steam Deck left is the best one, is that better for players or worse for your accessibility? And that pretty
Oh,
much
that's
is
a good question.
asking, yeah, like some people could only afford the 400. So did they take the I guess the people that would be buyers that can only afford the cheaper option out of the market? And that kind of goes into what we've been saying, that gaming is becoming a luxury. And
Mm-hmm.
having a 550 interest price, for someone with a nice decent job, someone like us probably could afford it. I mean, some people are not in the financial situation where they can do that, but they can scrounge up 400 versus 550. I know some people will be coming, it's only $150 difference. But listen, if that's all they got, that's all I got.
Yeah. And
So
in these
yeah,
times, $150, that's a lot of money.
yeah, so I guess that's a question. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think about that? Cuz yeah, that's going to be the people who are going to be lost in the sauce. The people that cannot afford the 550 entry model that is now the OLED.
Yeah, you made me think of an interesting question. The announcement of this comes right around the holiday time when people are buying, spending, gift giving, etc. My question would be: was this a well thought plan to say, "Hey, we're discontinuing this"? A FOMO in a sense, where now Christmas here. Oh, well, I need to go ahead and grab this now while I can, or did they just
Mm.
like, "Hey,
Honestly, I don't know. I guess
this
it could go either way.
Yeah, this is the biggest holiday shopping spending, Black Friday, Christmas, etc. And like, hey, somewhere in marketing was like, hey, we need to let this go. Hey, I make an announcement around Christmas, the holiday time. People will buy this up quickly, slap that credit card and make it happen, baby. That was just something that crossed my mind as you was bringing this up.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Yeah, I can go either way, I guess. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not like they'll ever make a full announcement on it, but yeah, that's a
Oh
possibility. I can
no.
see that.
And that's it for this video of Are You Not Entertained podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell so you'll never miss our next hot take. Until next time, are you not entertained?